Wow, I can't believe we are on a paddlewheel riverboat. This is insane. I've never been on one of these before. It is so beautiful out here. I wish you guys could experience what we're experiencing, but hey, you can because we are live with 321 Liftoff. We have Penny Flaherty here, for the owner of the Indian River Queen, and I cannot wait for you to see and hear all the great stories that we've been talking about. So I hope you're ready for 321 Liftoff. Let's get started.
Three, two, one, liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to 321 Liftoff. I'm Wayne Belden, the president of Belden Communications, the publisher of the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. We'll be bringing you 321 Liftoff each week, talking about tourism on Florida's fabulous Space Coast. With me is the host of 321 Liftoff, Bonnie King, former Deputy Director of the Space Coast Office of Tourism, as well as the past President of the Florida Film Commission. Bonnie, are we ready to blast off on 321 Liftoff?
Yes, we are. Hey. Today we are relaxing on board the Indian River Queen, which is a triple-deck paddle-wheel river boat that offers first-class events and special charters located right here on the Indian River in Cocoa Village, which is just over the bridges from Cocoa Beach on Florida's Space Coast. We're going to have a tourism conversation with its owner, Penny Flaherty, and we're going to discuss not only this beautiful paddle-wheel boat, but we're also going to talk about her pontoon boats that she has called Island Boat Lines, and they take you through the 1,000 islands of Cocoa Beach. So we have a lot to talk about. She and I have a history as well, so we're going to get to talk about that as well. 321 Liftoff is brought to you in part by the Beachside Hotel and Suites on Cocoa Beach, offering a great overnight vacation destination when you plan your trip here to the Space Coast, and by Longboard's Restaurant and Tiki Bar, which is located at the Hilton Oceanfront, Cocoa Beach, offering a fabulous ambiance with great food and drink, and by the SpaceCoastFunGuide.com, where you will learn what there is to see and do in this fabulous area and where to do it. And joining me today is our producer, Phil Bird. Hey, Phil.
Hey, everybody. And you know, vacations are always full of fun. And me coming from Orlando, it's coming here to the Space Coast is definitely eye-opening because Orlando is so busy. There's traffic everywhere. Everything is insane. Every week when we come out here to the Space Coast, it's something that I cherish. I really honestly cherish because I've never experienced 90% of the things that we've ever done.
And you're like a visitor because you get to learn new things every time you come over here.
Yeah. And so he's
going to move here next, I can tell.
No lie. I know we're getting off topic here. No lie. I discussed this with my wife and I was like, babe, the stuff on the Space Coast is amazing. The food is really great. The people are really, really nice. And I told her, I want to be on a boat today.
Right. There you
like,
go.
What?
We do real wow.
Exactly. I love it. You know, it's interesting because a lot of people, they come on their vacation and they're overstressed, they're overworked, and they're just plain tired. In fact, this is interesting. The World Health Organization formally defined this syndrome as energy depletion. And so today, with Penny's help, we're going to totally unwind, and we're going to get energized as she describes to us these relaxing boat rides on both the Indian River and the Banana Rivers here on the Space Coast. And she is an entrepreneur, an event planner, a nature enthusiast, very professional, and a creative woman with great style, great flair. Let's meet Penny Flaherty.
I know. Very sweet.
What an introduction. And that wasn't even everything.
It isn't everything. We go back a long way.
We do. We go back probably longer than I've known most people in the Space Coast.
I know. And so here you are owning, this fabulous boat line. I say boat. I mean, this is like a cruise ship itself, the Indian River Queen. So let's talk a little bit about Let's talk about you first, about how you got into this and how you got involved with boats and becoming this queen of the queen of the seas, the boat lady.
I'm the boat lady.
Yeah, you are.
That's what her voicemail says.
Yeah.
I have a few titles, but I really do love the boat lady. Not as much as I love grandma and mom.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
I really do enjoy being the boat lady. I even met my husband on a boat, so that's kind of fun. Boats have just steered my life, it seems like. But where do we begin?
Well, let's see. Let's start back when when we first met, you were modeling.
When I first met you, I was 19.
There you go.
And I owned a modeling agency called Model Showcase, and it was in Merritt Island. And I was Miss CK101, and Miss Bonnie worked at the CK101 station.
Yeah, I sure did.
And CK101 encouraged me, or sponsored me actually, into the Miss Florida pageant. And I really didn't want to do it, but I realized I'd get a lot of free publicity from my modeling agency.
And it worked. It was great.
So I thought, well, what the heck? What do I have to lose? So I did it, and then I won. So that took a whole different path. But that's when we met, was 19, and I had my modeling agency.
That's right. And then you had your modeling agency, and then I went over from CK101 and the radio station. I went over to Merritt Square Mall, and whenever I needed to have fashion shows, I would call Penny.
Right,
yes,
right.
And you supplied the models. And,
right.
Yep.
So I ended up getting a cosmetology license, and I sold my modeling agency, or kind of merged it in to get my cosmetology license. And then I started a beauty salon in the flea market, the Frontenac Flea Market.
Oh,
Imagine
I
that.
love flea markets.
I do too.
So, I was dating a fella, and he says, you need to go to college and get a degree, and you're never going to do anything with your life. And I said, well, I'm going to open a beauty salon at the flea market. So I went over to the flea market. I dragged my mom with me, and I created a stop sign, and I hung it right in the middle of the hallway where everyone walked, and it said, free trial nail. And when people walked by, the stop sign just kind of skidded their head. And they'd say, what do you mean a free trial nail? So I put them down, and I put a sculptured nail on them. And then they wanted the whole set because it was beautiful. So I'd have 20 people lined up to get sculptured nails. So the salon was quite successful at the flea market. And then I launched the salon into the cruise industry, and Heads or Nails went from the flea market onto cruise ships. I ended up
Nails.
Yes.
That is a great
It's a great name, isn't it?
name. Oh my gosh.
And I ended up having 11 ships. And I sold my business when I was just getting ready to deliver my third child to a publicly owned company.
Wow.
Which was really good timing, because back then some of the ships that I was on were being gobbled up by the larger ships. But I got out at a really good time.
So you were on the cruise ships then as
I
well.
was on 11 ships.
Right.
Yes, I sold my flea market business. Believe it or not, someone actually bought my salon in the flea market, and then I was on cruise ships. And I met my husband on the first ship that I went on, and that was the Royale, the big red ship.
Yeah,
That was the first
there you go.
cruise ship. When I was in beauty school, I would go on to the Sea Escape and do the hair and makeup for the officers on the ships. So I'm kind of a self-taught business person.
Well, what we said, you're an entrepreneur. You think, and you
I didn't-
visualize, and you say, this is what I'm going to go for. That's why I like to hear everybody's story.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story to tell about where did you start to get to where you are here? And the amazing story about how people you wind up where they are is amazing.
It's
So
great.
this
because
is
not
good
one
to
is the
hear.
same.
Right.
Not one story is
Is this-
identical as anybody
Well,
Right.
I
else's.
didn't have
Yeah.
any money, so I had to start with the free trial nail.
Yeah.
And then the customer would give me $25. And then at the end of the day, I ended up with $500 in my pocket. So I just built my businesses that way. I didn't have any banks loaning me money, because who the heck is I didn't have an
Right.
education, so I just grew as I grew.
There you go.
And so I sold my business to a publicly owned company. They called me and they said, we want to buy your business. And I'm like, well, it's not really for sale, but hey, let's talk business.
Yeah.
So I sold it. And then I retired for a little while, and I was a guardian ad litem. And I enjoyed my kids and my husband, and we had a lot of fun, but I realized I really needed to get back into business. And I had some friends over from Canada, and we were watching the sunset, and I said, you know what? We need a tour boat business so people like you, tourists, could go out and enjoy a boat ride in the sunset. And I said, I'm going to start a tour boat business. And my husband looked at me, because he kind of knows when I say I'm going to do
when
something.
you do that, you're going to do it.
I always do it. So I started Island Boat Lines with a small boat. I found an old boat at Disney, and I restored it. And I launched that one out of the Sunset Cafe. And I am proud to say this is our 20-year anniversary.
Wow, there you go.
20 years. And I had 2 other boats built, custom built. So we retired the little Islander and the Sunshine and Miss Florida. They're 49-passenger covered pontoon vessels, and they operate every day. We've been through so many things. We've been through hurricanes and recessions, and we could just go on and on and on, and now COVID. And we've seemed to weather the storm, and Island Boat Lines is doing great. I guess 2 years into Island Boat Lines, one of my captains said, hey, there's this paddle wheel boat down in Fort Lauderdale that's being auctioned off. It was seized by the government. And I thought, He goes, you should just get it for an office. So I went down and I bought it. Like, oh, honey, I bought a boat.
How do you even start that conversation? So how was your day?
I bought a boat. So I had to bring my crew down, and we worked on the boat for a couple weeks.
Because it needed to be renovated and stuff, right?
I mean,
it needed a lot of work.
Right. So we got it up here, and I took it down to Tingley's Fish Camp.
Right.
And we were there for 2 years renovating it. And right before it was done, the hurricane came through and wiped out every dock in this county. And then we had no place to put the Queen. So we were like, oh, gosh.
Where are we going to put it?
What are we going to do? So we did come here we did one event. We did a wedding. And then we ended up going down to Melbourne, and we went to there was like a little harbor, a galley.
Yeah, the Galley Yacht Club?
No, that wasn't it.
Melbourne Harbor. One of the harbors down there.
Yeah, it was down there. But it was kind of sketchy getting in and out. And then we went to Telemark Bay for a while, and that was really kind of sketchy. But the city of Cocoa appealed to the marina owners here at Cocoa Village Marina. It was then called Whitney Bay. And they said, hey, you can come back. And since then, I've bought my dock, so we don't have to worry about being dockless anymore. And so that's how we got to where we are right now.
Unbelievable. And I have to say that
that's a long story.
The view, well, no, it's a great story because it tells people how you started and your vision of what you wanted to see and the opportunities that come along your way.
Yeah.
You know, I always say that when opportunity knocks, you know, you got to be ready for it.
Yeah. Well, nothing was pre-planned.
No,
I never
no,
woke up one day and said,
yeah.
I'm going to go to college and I'm going to learn how to run a tour boat, operate a tour boat business, and I'm going to have a big boat. None of that happened. It just comes up with these crazy ideas. And then I tell my husband, hey, this is what I'm doing. And he looks at me like, oh, darn.
He's used to it by now. But great coming over this bridge that we have here, coming over the Indian River, coming into Cocoa Village. I mean, this is what you see.
It's
you
a
see,
landmark.
It is a landmark.
And
you know that you have arrived at Cocoa Village when you come over that bridge and see this.
And I'm so honored because the city of Cocoa put a replica of the Queen as you enter Cocoa.
I saw that.
So that's
very
cool.
nice.
Pretty cool.
Yes, they did. You've made a mark, my dear. You've made a mark.
Well, the city of Cocoa has been great. They've been really, really great to work with, and it's a really neat destination. Cocoa Village is such a lovely little village to shop in, so we always encourage our guests.
we actually interviewed their director, and so that we could talk about the stores that were there, and it's just quaint and it's great, and so you know, we definitely promoted Cocoa Village. So if you're listening and you want to see that, just go to our archives and you'll be able to pick that up and be able to see that. So let's talk about what they can see and do on the Indian River Queen, and then we'll go on to Island Boat Lines and talk about the great Thousand Islands, etc.
But before we do that, though, can we? I've
Yeah,
never
what
been
do
on
you
one of
need?
these before. So
Okay.
what exactly
Yeah.
sets this boat apart from other boats? Like you say, it's a paddle wheel boat, but like I've never really seen many paddle. Like what is that?
Well, there's not many of them out there.
Okay.
So we're one of few, and we wouldn't be seeing the Indian River Queen, but I saved the Queen, baby.
Oh.
You should have seen the Queen when I got it. But it took 2 years to restore it, so there's not many of them out there. The nice thing about the Indian River Queen, I guess it's a good and a bad thing, we don't do daily service on the Indian River Queen.
Okay.
However, we do with the Island Boat Lines. The Indian River Queen specializes in private charters.
Nice.
So if we did daily service, it would be really difficult to also have the private charters. And when you have a private charter on here, you have the whole boat. You're not going to just have the Queen's room or the top deck. You have the whole boat, so we can customize a plan exclusively for you. You can do reunions or weddings
and
corporate functions. We had an amazing corporate party last week, and they came from all over, and they had such a great time. They even put games up on the top deck. They had a cornhole, and they had all kinds of games I had never seen.
and music.
Yeah, music. We can do music. We can do all kinds of things. So that's a nice thing about being able to customize.
Yeah.
We have a full-service bar on board. We do not have a galley, so all of our food comes in catered. Currently, we're using the Black Tulip in Cocoa Village. They've been with us, I guess they've been doing our food for over 10 years now, and they do a lovely job. But we do work with other caterers as well. So if a client wants to have their own caterer, as long as they're licensed and insured, they can do that. We have a full-service bar, entertainment, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
We have amazing flower designers, photographers, videographers, DJs. We can do it all for you. All you have to do is make one phone call.
And you handle it all.
And and a little bit of cash in your pocket, and we'll take care of you.
You know, it's interesting because I know that, and knowing you, that people come from all over. All over, really, the world to
Yes.
come here and do an event
They
here
do.
on the paddle wheel. And when you're coming into town and you need a place to stay, we want to encourage you to stay at the Beachside Hotel, which is in Cocoa
Right.
Beach. Michelle Martindale, who you know, is the sales director there. And it's a beautiful location right by the beach. They offer everything, it's a renovated room. I don't know if you've seen since the renovation.
I haven't.
don't.
But
Okay.
Michelle, I can't wait to see it because
Yeah,
I didn't realize that they had done all the renovations.
So,
It's
the
nice.
colors are amazing,
Oh,
and
good.
the what is
Lazy
the
river?
lazy river that goes the
Yeah.
entire length of the hotel. Kids love it. There's a beach. They even have that little sandy beach right there for the kids to play in. It's just a great, and they give you everything that you need for the beach. So if you want to take a bike ride, you
Nice.
have the bike. If you need a cart to move your stuff down to the beach, they have that. So they really take really good care of you. So when you have that opportunity to come here, we really encourage you
Well,
to go
I
to
will
the
certainly
Beachside.
recommend my clients to check them out.
Absolutely. Beachside
Sure.
Hotel, CocoBeach.com if you want to go and look at the amazing pictures that Michelle has on there. So
I wish you could see what I see right now. I have the camera on you.
Do you have
solo,
dolphins?
Solo, Bonnie. It was just that it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like
Oh.
behind
behind me,
you. Well, you too, of course. But I mean, like
behind me is something. Well, it's a
nothing
great
there.
view.
It just literally looks at me. So if you're watching this live, drop a comment on the comment. Just tell me what do you think of how it looks in the background there. Just
So
You have
pretty.
to see this. It is
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
Great view. We have a great view here.
Yes, we do.
Okay, that's why I like going on location so that our listeners have the opportunity to see and feel, what we get to experience every day.
Right.
So, any neat stories that you can share about anything that's happened on board the paddle boat?
Oh, what happens on the boat stays
Stays
on the boat.
Maybe you can say one thing.
What's that?
No, I don't know. Wasn't this used in a movie?
Oh, this was
Yes.
used in a movie. That was before I purchased it. It was used in a movie called Out of Time, starring Denzel Washington.
Say what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Did
not
you see that
kidding.
movie?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
now you'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
And this is the boat that he would go to with his friend, and this is the boat in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah,
Isn't that neat?
Isn't that cool?
That's
And
awesome.
There's been some other films that have been filmed on here too, documentaries, and Don Wilson did a shoot on here with
Right.
his
The Karate Kid.
Yep, they did a shoot on here as well. And the Office of Tourism has sent a lot of people over here as well to explore and write about the Queen. So it's been written up there's been so many stories.
I
about
know
the
it's
Queen.
interesting when you talk to people like how did you hear about it? How did you know? They saw it on the internet, and I guess
Yeah, the internet's amazing.
it is amazing, and so we're just happy for you because it's doing so well.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's nice. Now, I know that there are future things that you do on weekends. I don't think they're being done right now, but your music cruise.
Yeah, we'll bring the music cruises back in October. We are going to dry dock in a couple of weeks, and that's where we actually take the entire vessel out of the water, and we paint the bottom, and we repair anything that needs to be repaired because we can't do that here at the marina.
Right.
So we try to get everything done. We usually go every 2 years, but last year with COVID, we had to skip a year. So we're at year 3. So we have a project list of things we want to do at the dry dock. when it comes back in October, we'll start back with the public cruises. We do only one dinner cruise a month and one Sunday scenic cruise a month. But the Sunday scenic cruises, people can have private parties in the Queen's room without having to charter the entire boat. So that's a very affordable way to have a private party on here. I think the first one coming back, someone's having a wedding.
How long do you guys go out for?
Well, with a private charter, it can be as long as the client likes. I think 4 hours is great. We were out the other day, last Saturday, for a private party, and we were out for 4 hours, and they said, we really want to stay out for another hour.
And you went,
and I was like, okay. But, they have open bar and all
Right,
of that.
sure.
So I think 4 hours is the magic number. It's the nice, nothing really, 5 hours of an open bar is not a good idea.
You start forgetting things after hour 3.
Yeah, I don't encourage, but so you don't really need 5 hours. But I've had a lot of my European clients, they like 6-hour charters.
yeah.
They just want to be out here all day.
Well, and the other thing that we were talking about on vacation is that relaxing. I mean, I just got back from San Francisco and we did tours, and it was like I'd wake up in the morning and I had to be at so-and-so because we did a tour, and then we did this, and then we did a tour, and then we had to go to dinner. And I was like, by the time I came back to the hotel, I mean, I was tired. I love the fact that when you come here to the Space Coast and stuff, you can like relax. And this is a great I mean, even just sitting here, this is totally relaxing.
I know. We should be having a glass of wine instead of water right now.
Right. Well, we totally understand that. Totally understand. But again, when you're here on the Space Coast, I mean, there's so many great things that you can do, and then you can just relax and do different things, even if you're just relaxing on the beach, relaxing on the pontoon boat, which I want to talk about. The pontoon boats going out into the Thousand Islands and cruising through and seeing the wildlife. Let's talk about, and I love the decorations of your pontoon boat.
Oh, thanks.
Very, very colorful, and you're going down the causeway and you look out in the water and you see these beautiful pontoon boats taking people out for a beautiful cruise. So let's talk about what they can see.
Well, the Island Boat Lines, as I said, I started that one with just an idea of wanting to share the river with everyone. And we do school field trips, too, where kids have never been on a boat. And this is the first time Phil hasn't been on a boat.
Right.
A lot of kids in our community have never been on boats, but they take field trips on our boat, so it's kind of their first exposure. So Island Boat Lines does daily eco tours, dolphin manatee tours. They're called In Search of Wildlife. And we cruise through the Cocoa Beach Thousand Islands on a 2-hour tour. They'll see dolphins, manatees, also a parade of homes.
I love the parade of homes.
Yeah,
I love to see how people decorate their backyards and all that good
and
stuff.
the different plants.
I love it.
And
so.
the locals, they come out and they
Yes.
wave, and the dogs greet the boats.
Yes.
And I have an amazing crew. I have a captain and a narrator on all of our tours. There's a bathroom. Our guests can bring their own food and drinks if they'd like. They can. They don't need to bring life jackets or anything like that because we are U.S. Coast Guard certified vessels. So we meet all of the standards that are necessary to operate the safely.
That's great.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So, any neat stories about any encounters? The great thing before we get, if you have a story to share about that, but is the education that these kids get when they're out. It's so neat that our schools recognize that and bring the kids out and do these tours, because the kids not only learn about the wildlife and everything, but even the water quality. I know that you guys have discussed water quality and the ecotourism in the area. So I applaud you for that, because, the kids need to know those things.
Right.
Man, I missed out when I was a kid.
It's a great part of education.
And they like to get out of the classroom too, and it gives them that chance. I mean, the schools have been coming for. I think we've been in business 20 years, and I think schools started coming about probably 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and they just come all, we do give the schools a really good discount. So we don't do it for the money on the field trips for the children, but it is really to share what we have here and to give kids that have never or may never have an opportunity to get on a boat. They have that opportunity, and that's really what I mean. I love Florida, and I love sharing what we have here, and I guess that's why I work so hard.
So I have a dumb guy question here.
Okay.
What's the difference between a pontoon boat and this boat?
Well, the pontoon boat is, everyone has
Flat.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it's got pontoons as the hull. This has a hull. This
Okay.
has an actual steel hull, and that has tubes like big pontoons that it floats on, and it's a deck boat.
Gotcha.
And they don't go real fast. They're very comfortable. We have bench seating, and everyone has a good view. And really, people charter those privately too. We do so many private charters. We had a fella in the other night. His kids were coming into town. He just wanted to have all the family, and he had 30 people on there. We just do all kinds of things over there. The cruise ships, we do cruise ship excursions, so we'll be excited when the ships come back.
Yeah, definitely, which hopefully now starting at the end of July, we just started with our first ship that went out, and now that's going to pick up. And so we'll have all those people that come in, again, pre and post tours that people do when they're coming on a cruise, which is wonderful for us because they'll spend 1 or 2 days before they go on their cruise and have a chance to experience what we have here on the Space Coast.
Well, we've become not dependent on the cruise ships through COVID. We've
I
all
know.
learned how to get through business without the cruise ships. We love the cruise ships.
Amazing,
but
though,
that's
isn't
the
it?
icing on the cake.
A lot of people said, "Oh, what would you do if these cruise ships weren't here?" Well, guess what? We did amazingly
We did amazing.
well.
Do our
Actually,
thing.
I think we did better with
Yeah.
Island Boat Lines because the locals,
Right.
they discovered us because they weren't going anywhere. So they were like, what can we do locally? And they discovered Island Boat Lines, we've been there 20 years, and they just figured it out. So now when their visitors come, that's
They say,
what they do.
I know where I'm going to take you.
The first thing we do is book it before their visitors get here because they know how busy we are.
Nice.
And it's kind of been a hidden treasure for the locals. The people from out of town have known about it, and now I think that this has taught us how to operate a little bit differently, and we totally are not dependent on the ships. We love our ships,
Right. We love them.
but we're gonna operate a little differently when they come back and not become dependent.
That's awesome. That's something I really didn't even think about, how this is mainly like for the locals. That's really good. But something that I think we should all discuss is three things that I think that you should know about Penny.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Penny, you're on. What's
So
the
three things brought to you by Longboards Tiki.
Longboards Tiki Bar and Grill, which is located right there in the Hilton at Cocoa Beach, and wonderful location to stop and have a drink and have something to eat. Great ambiance there with the fire pits that are there so that you can sit on the couches. The fire pits go. I don't care if it's hot outside. I still like a fire. If I'm
Yeah.
sitting outside, it's there. I love that.
Yeah.
Glass of wine in my hand, sitting there with the beauty of the beach all around. And there's 2 bars there. They have the big tiki bar, which is right there, on the deck. And then you can walk out toward the beach, and there's a little mini bar out there thatched that you can actually sit there and watch everybody on the
Absolutely
beach.
gorgeous.
Love it. It's really gorgeous. And they have some great food, drinks, and great specialties, and they have music.
What I like about it is that I don't even have to get a room to hang out there.
It's a local hangout.
I can just go and drive and
Right.
then walk on the beach and have drinks, and that's what I like about the Space Coast.
That's why you're gonna
Orlando.
move
I got to
here.
pay $60 to do anything. So,
There you go. It's another idea. Longboardstiki.com if you want to look at some great pictures and check it out. But it's a great place to hang out, and a great time is had by all. So, all right. So Penny,
All right, so I guess
3 things.
I had to ask my daughter, what should I say, because she's my best critic of all, my daughter Marina. So she said, Mom, you really should tell people you were Miss Florida USA 1979. I don't really like to tell people that because today, if I had to redo it again, I probably wouldn't have done it because I don't really.
Well, it's uncomfortable.
Well, I just don't think it's
drawing
the thing to do.
attention. Yeah.
I remember bringing my daughter to watch a pageant that I had to judge. I said, would you ever want to do this? And she says, no way. And I kind of applaud her for that. And but at the time, it was good marketing for my business.
Yeah.
And
You're in the history
I had
books.
a lot of fun
She
things.
is in the history
And
books.
people really think it's kind of cool. So
I know. And when you enter Cocoa Beach, there's a sign that says that you are our Miss Florida.
No, that was a different. That was a different gal. That was from. She was from Cocoa Beach.
I thought it was you.
Well,
No?
today it is.
Okay, today it is. You see that sign, it's you.
I'm a vintage Miss Florida.
Yeah, there you go.
1979.
There you
Okay,
go.
So the other kind of interesting thing about me is I did not go to university. Another thing I'm ashamed of. But I started business at 19 and I've been successful. So
That's
I'm
right.
proud of that.
Absolutely.
But I wish I kind of, gosh, could you imagine if I'd gone to university?
yeah, but if you
What
went
would
to
I have done with
I know.
myself?
Well, you don't know, and you don't know if you would have had the Indian River Queen. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why it's so interesting to hear your story,
Yeah.
because there are people out there that have visions of maybe what they want to do in their life, and they can listen to what your history was and say, you know, man, she had that drive, she had
Yeah.
that passion. That's what life's
Yeah.
about anyway. is
Yeah,
you do what
exactly.
makes you happy. You go with your passion. I told that to my kids. I said, man, get a job that you love, because then when you have a job that you love, you're never working.
Right.
You're right,
You
Bonnie.
know?
And the path to being successful is never linear.
Yeah.
So what
Right,
you
it-
have here is fantastic. And so, like Bonnie said, you may not have even had this. If
Yeah.
Right.
You may have,
Right.
this opportunity was meant for you. So your whole entire life led up to this.
Right.
And just look.
And
Beauty
then
that we're surrounded by.
my third thing was, and I'm kind of proud of this, I was the only female concessionaire that owned a concession on cruise ships.
There you go.
Back when I was in the cruise ship industry, and they used to have monthly meetings, and I was concessionaire, but all the concessionaires were there, and
They
they
were
never
all-
they never said, Penny, you need to come to this meeting. But I found out they were having these concessionaire meetings, and I'm like, oh, I'm a
Yeah.
concessionaire. So I would march my little self in there, and
You were
I'd
the-
sit down, and I was amongst all men from, Norwegians and Greeks, and, they were all strong-willed men, let's put it that way. And I'd sit down, and then sooner or later, more women were in the meetings, but I was the only female concessionaire in the cruise industry
Isn't that
at
something?
that time.
So we need to write Trailblazer up here too. After all, those
Yeah,
other
I'll have to add
superlatives.
that to that. Yes, what can I say? That is so cool. Yeah.
So those are the three things probably people didn't know about me.
That's
Wonderful.
awesome.
Wonderful. So let's see, what website information, if they want website information on the Indian River Queen.
So the Indian River Queen is www.indianriverqueen.com.
That's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. And I
And-
bet islandboatlines.com
Yes,
to look at the
ma'am.
pontoons.
Yes, ma'am. And there's lots of photos and videos and all the information you want. If you do want to have a private charter, you want to give us a call, because we do customize all of the charters, and the price really depends on what we provide. And then Island Boat Lines, you can buy tickets online. We only reserve seats that are paid for, so you do want to get your ticket in advance. Never just walk up and think you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah, because it could all be
It sells
sold
out.
Yeah.
Island Boat Lines, like I said, it is so popular right now. And
And today's the
Don't-
perfect day to go
yeah.
out. I mean, look how calm the water is.
don't
So-
miss the boat. Don't miss the boat.
I'm telling you. I just want to say again, going on the Island Boat Lines, I know when I worked for the Office of Tourism, when we would bring travel agents and we would bring visitors or whatever, we would take them on the pontoon. Just listening to everybody, ooh and awe. We see manatees and dolphins like every day. They don't. So to
Yeah.
hear their excitement and taking the pictures and everything, it's so much fun.
But Bonnie, I have to admit, every time I see a manatee or a dolphin, I
Still
still
get
ooh
excited.
and ah.
Yeah.
I still act. It's like it's
fun.
the first time I saw one. It's so exciting because they're in the wild. They're not in a theme park.
Right.
And then when I said earlier, we do real, well, because we do. Everything here is real in the Space Coast. We have the dolphins that are living their life naturally. It's the best they can in the
Right, right.
lagoon, and we have real waves. We don't have a water park that's creating waves. We have real waves you can go surfing on, and we have real rockets out here at the Space Coast.
Yes, we do. And this is a great spot too. I mean, to watch a launch.
And this is a real paddle wheel boat. So, we do real well.
You do a real well. I love it. Hey, I remember once too, a long time ago, well, I know you do it. You're as an event planner. I mean, you are so detailed and so organized because I've worked with you many times to do stuff. But I remember once somebody wanted to do something really extravagant, and you got a tent, and you did it in Cocoa Village, and you decorated it, and it was
So what that
perfect.
was, that was when they launched the Columbus Space Lab. And my client was a German company called Astrium, and they were launching the Space Lab. And they wanted to charter the boat, but the boat wasn't big enough. They had 500 people. So I took them over to Cocoa Village, and I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to build this beautiful tent, and it's going to be like a great Gatsby party. And I just told her all about it, and she loved it. So they said, okay, let's do it. And it was going to be 500 people. And we were going to bring the boat over there and do our joy rides and have jazz on the boat, and it was just fabulous. So she called me a week before the event, and she says, we have a problem. And I said, what's your problem? We have 700 people. I said, 700 people.
oh dear.
So, I mean, to build this tent, this was no small tent.
Right, I remember.
We had cranes and forklifts, and it was clear span. We had chandeliers and red carpet and Chiavari chairs, and it was the most spectacular event I think we've ever seen on the Space Coast here. We had ice carvings. The city mayor gave my client the key to the city, in which he loved that. So the launch got scrubbed. They had an amazing party anyways, and a month later or 2 months later, they rescheduled, and they scheduled the boat the next time because they didn't have 700 people the next time, and they did the next one on the Queen, and we had 200 people on the Queen for that launch. And then they did another event when they closed their operation down at NASA.
There you go.
So that was really a very successful relationship I had with that company. But it was beautiful. And the people came from all over the world. And I had the flags from all the different nations that were involved in the Space Lab that was being sent up. And as you walked into the tent, their flags were all lining the entrance. And it was stunning.
It was spectacular. I mean, I saw it, and I bring that up only to say that if you're planning on a destination wedding, or if you're planning on doing a reunion or a big event, and you really want it to be extra special, God, just get with Penny, and she will make it extra special.
Oh, thanks, Bonnie.
Really, and thank you so much for being here today and giving us this experience and giving it to Phil, so that Phil has the opportunity to be on board this wonderful paddle wheel river boat, which is so great. Now next week we're going to talk about ghost stories.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
We have a company called Karma Tours that does ghost tours here now on the Space Coast, and they end up at the Ashley's restaurant, which is haunted, and Ashley's has some great stories. And
we're gonna Phil.
So Karma Tours, we're going to meet with Bruce Van Horn, who runs the tour, and then we're also going to meet with the manager of Ashley's, Dawn Christie, and she's going to tell us some of the stories that people have shared and her employees have shared about some of the ghostly things that have done. And I'm going to share some opportunities too, because as film commissioner for the Space Coast, I used to bring in TV shows to the haunted Ashley's. And believe it or not, the batteries would drain, and they could not get good stuff because the batteries would. I think, let me put in a new battery. They'd put in a new battery. They'd go to film again, and the battery would drain. So that just made for good TV, and it made for a great story. But it's a wonderful. The stories are great, and that we have a haunted cemetery that's right located there in Merritt Island, and so they go through that as well. So we're going to hear some great stories on that. There's always something interesting and something cool to do here on Florida Space Coast. If you have any questions about things, please just let us know, info@spacecoastfunguide.com. Let us know if there's something that you're interested in, you have a question, we're here to answer any of that. And again, the Space Coast Fun Guide, when you get here, has discount coupons in it that you can use all around the Space Coast area. So we encourage you to get that. And if you just want the book, just write a note to info@spacecoast.com and they'll send it to you. That way you'll be prepared when you come here.
And thank you so much for having me. And
we're so glad.
3, 2, 1, lift off. It's my pleasure, and it's an honor to be featured. Thank you.
Absolutely. And not only that, but I'm just wondering where our life is going to take us. Even in 10 years,
I
Penny,
know.
we've known each other, through all our kids, through marriage, everything. So it's
Well,
crazy.
You never know. If I retire, who knows what I'm going to do next.
Absolutely.
Can we have a Bonnie and Penny podcast?
Yeah, there you go. It's fun.
Like I told Bonnie, I'm a little bit dyslexic, so you never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Well, you did good.
Oh,
You did
thanks,
good.
thanks.
You did good. Hey, listen, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we really appreciate it. Enjoy the beauty of Florida Space Coast. See you next week.
See ya. Bye.
That was fun.